On a weekend where we celebrate a life well lived cut way too short, we also crown a series champion for the 1-Up Superstar Series in 2021. We're at race 30 of 30. This is it, the last chance. We're at Homestead-Miami Speedway for 94 laps around this high-banked 1.5-mile oval. It's been the site of some plenty of exciting moments in racing history, and I'm sure we'll add another one to another chapter in that book to this racetrack here at Homestead this afternoon. Alongside me in the booth today, as always, to round out the season is Duke Ansack. And, well, unlike yesterday, this championship battle is a lot more open and shut. Christian Vargas has a huge lead over Jared Polansky. He only needs to finish 28th or better, and he will be celebrating his first series championship.
Yeah, Christian Vargas has got a great situation right now. I mean, if you have to go into the final race with the chance to lose it, you'd want to be in the situation that Christian Vargas is in, because he only has to be 28th or better in this race to be able to lock up this championship. Jared Polansky has no shot if that 54 car is above 28th in this race, but don't count out the possibilities, because Christian Vargas is starting in a very vulnerable position in 15th. So he's going to be back in the pack. He's in the middle of this, what's going to be crazy racing at the beginning, when they're all grouped, packed together side by side. So we'll see what happens in the beginning of this race. But, for him, it could be interesting. And Jared Polansky is always fast on these 1.5 miles. So, it could get interesting here, but I'd say Christian Vargas, if he's just careful in this thing, has got a real good shot of being a champion today.
While we crown a champion in this series in 2021, we also say goodbye to several drivers, some temporarily, some permanently, and as such, we'll say goodbye to Arthur Xavier, who makes his final career start in the 1-Up Superstar Series this afternoon. He, by matter of chance, lines up on pole position for today's race, as we can give you the full starting lineup now. On his first final race, he lines up on pole position. Could it be any more poetic? Richard Herman, in his final race in the Superstar Series before going down the trucks next year, he lines up on outside pole. J.D. Martins lines up third, with Jared Polansky fourth, as you mentioned, and Nick Ortiz rounds out the top five. We got a lot of drivers that's going to be dropping down. We're going to not be seeing them on Sundays that much anymore. What can we expect from them to give a good final hurrah in the Superstar Series?
I'm expecting an all-out battle today. I think that everybody's giving everything they've got today, because it's the final race. This is it. This is the final race of the season. You're not going to get another shot. There's not going to be a time where it's like, we'll get him next time. We'll get him next week. This is it. This is the last week of the season. So, there's no we'll do it next week. You got to do it now. So I think that everybody is going to be fighting really hard. And I think that the only guy that's going to be taking it easy out there is Christian Vargas in the 54.
And with that being said, 94 laps await us around this Homestead-Miami Speedway. The grid is all lined up. We are ready to bring you the action for the final time in 2021. Strap into your seats, folks. You're not going to want to miss a second of the heart-pounding action. The green flag is next, and in 94 laps time, we will crown our second ever series champion. For one last time in 2021, Arthur Xavier on the inside, Richard Herman on the outside. For one last time, we take a silent lap 1 in memory of Ryan Darnell. Green flag in the air. The season finale at Homestead is underway. Great start for Arthur Xavier, but they are 3 wide behind Nick Ortiz, Jeffrey Finguy, and Anderson Reed, all side by side. Jared Polansky's in the middle of that beehive, but no one's in a bigger pressure spot right now than Christian Vargas, mired deep in the pack, trying just to stay out of trouble and cement his championship once and for all here tonight.
Yeah, it looks like he's gotten to the bottom back there, which is a good place to be because you can avoid more things on the bottom. And meanwhile, up here for the lead, we've got Dodge and a Chevy battling it out for the lead of this race. We got Dodge on the bottom, Chevy on the top, and they're both red cars with some white decals on it. And they're racing for the lead at this point in the race. And Jared Polansky has fallen back, but he has made it to the outside, which is critical. I believe you're going to want to be on the outside in this race to want to gain positions early today.
This is Dodge's last chance to break their goose egg in the victory column this season. They have yet to score a victory in 2021. This could be their final shot. This is their final shot. Could it be Richard Herman's day here today? Or could it be Bobo Jones? Could it be someone else deep in the pack trying to score Dodge their first win in 2021? But here comes J.D. Martin now on the inside of Arthur Xavier for the lead. Might not work out because here comes Jared Polansky up the high side trying to take second away.
Yeah, Jared Polansky knows he's got to get up there. He has to get up there quick, too, because he needs all the points he can get. And you get a bonus point for leading the most laps in this race. So if he can get up there and lead as many laps as he can, he'll be able to lead maybe until halfway if he can block well enough. And that'll secure the most laps led bonus, which guarantees a second bonus point as well for leading one lap. And he's going to need all the points he can get if he wants to have any chance against the 54 car, still mired in traffic far back in this field.
Look at this 18. He's practically pushing the 99 off into turn 3. Jeffrey Finguy makes a swift move up to the top around J.D. Martin, and here comes Jared Polansky. Oh, he almost breaks contact with the wall off of 4. Arthur Xavier holds on. He leads for the 5th consecutive lap. He's led more laps today than he has in his whole season up to this point. But Jared Polansky trying to deny Arthur Xavier a Cinderella story in his final race. It's only a matter of time now. We still have 88 laps to go.
Yeah, this thing is very far from over. In fact, we're just getting started right now, so it's too soon to jump to any kind of conclusions in this race to even say which line's going to be better. What better strategy is there going to be? Who's going to be there at the end? We don't know yet. But what we do know right now is that Jared Polansky is fighting hard, and so is the 66 of J.D. Martin on the very bottom. He's the lowest we've seen anybody all weekend on this racetrack. He is fighting down there. He's digging, and he's trying to get some lap time to try to beat these guys on the outside lane, which has been so dominant so far in this race and all weekend.
Here comes Jared Polansky up on the high side. They're going to make it 3 wide, maybe with Arthur Xavier. Xavier slams the door on Polansky. That's going to open the door for J.D. Martin to take the lead of this race. Xavier leads at the line, but Martin's got the advantage on the low side. He's going to try and make a move around the bottom. Oh, this is going to be really close. The 66 has the better equipment, but the 99's got the better line. Coming off of turn 2, they're still side by side going into turn 3, and this entire pack is still Constantining its way around this Homestead-Miami Speedway. Martin trying to take the lead for the first time tonight.
Wow, and he made it work on the bottom. That is impressive. That's a lot of people are going to be watching. In fact, Jared Polansky has already learned he got to go to the bottom to try to make these passes. It's not going to work on the outside. It's too dangerous, and it's not enough gain for the risk that it is. Go to the bottom. See if you can make it happen down there. The leader just got it by using the bottom. So let's see how that changes the outlook of this race.
One driver who's made his way to the top of the racetrack is the 54 of Christian Vargas. He's actually in the top of a 3-wide battle with Patrick Smith and Nick Ortiz, mired back in about to 13th position at the moment. That's still plenty enough to win the championship. He can't afford to take any risks, though, as we look back to the 54. There he is. He's right just outside the top 10 and now in 12th, battling Nick Ortiz for that position right behind San Donato, who capped off a very impressive Nitro National Series season yesterday, coming up here to get a little extra seat time in preparation for next year. But Christian Vargas doing everything he needs to do. Stay out of trouble. Avoid contact. But he's still going to try and make passes wherever the opportunity arises. He's gonna make a move around San Donato and move Christian Vargas up to P11.
Yeah, Christian Vargas slowly and steady moving up through the pack. That's exactly what he's got to do. He's just got to maintain. He's got to get up there. It'd be nice for him to put some pressure on Jared Polansky, but he doesn't need to. He just needs to stay in contention today, and that's, he's got to be around to be able to win this championship. He's given himself enough of a gap that now today is all about conservation. You know, like, don't go 3 wide in the middle and risk taking it all away by wrecking out of this race early. It ended up being an okay move, but it was scary. This pack is raging back here around Christian Vargas. Not great, but he's holding on right now, and he's gaining positions.
He's up in the top 10 right now, battling JQ Halleck in what could be their final start for a while now in the Superstar Series, as now several cars have gotten around Arthur Xavier, including this 92 of Jeffrey Finguy making a move on JD Martin for the race lead, and Finguy's just going to give up for the time being, settle back in line, prepare for another fight down the line. But right now, Jared Polansky has to be thinking pure offense in this race. He's got to get up into the lead. He's got to lead every lap he can and pray for a miracle for Christian Vargas to have some kind of failure or some sort of accident. He's got to hope for that. Otherwise, he'll have to wait till next year to be crowned champion.
Yeah, you know, and something else that's critical is he has got to get up there and start leading laps. You know, he's got to start knocking down some points in the most laps led category. He's got to use this draft. He's got to set the fastest lap in this thing. I mean, there's a lot that's going on for him, and he's, you know, third place early in the race usually is a pretty good spot to be, especially if the leaders are ahead of you or are fighting and you're doing good. But right now, it's not good enough for Jared Polansky. He's got to get up there, got to start leading laps if he wants to have a chance in this thing. And if you look at your leaderboard, that 54 car, he's up to 9th. So it's he's on his way. That 54 is you can never get rid of him. The chances for Jared Polansky right now may seem slim. The only way he's going to be able to get those, give himself a shot, is to go up there and lead a bunch of laps.
Christian Vargas, while you were talking, managed to get past both Richard Herman and Anderson Reed to move up into the 7th position. So Christian Vargas continuing to climb his way through the field as this side-by-side battle continues on between Jeffrey Finguy and JD Martin. Side-by-side off of 4. I think Finguy's got the better car of the two, but Martin's got the preferred line. Once again, that continues to be the case here. But Martin continuing to do everything he can to keep the lead. Finguy led at the line, and it looks like he's going to have a nose in front once again coming off of turn 2.
Yeah, but it's not going to be quite enough to clear, so he's still stuck on that bottom lane. We've seen it work before in this race. In fact, JD Martin was able to make it happen. Here comes the 92. He sent it in there. He's got to slide up in front of him. Oh, it's not going to be enough.
Oh, it might be enough.
Oh, there
he goes. He's clear now. Jeffrey Finguy out in the lead of this race on lap 16, entering 17. Jeffrey Finguy looking for his 5th win of 2021. That would tie him for most of the season with Christian Vargas and Stephen Hunter, and it would tie him on the all-times win list with Vargas and Jared Polansky. So Finguy's got a lot of reasons to make gains through this field. And how about Christian Vargas? He's already up into the top 5, and he's going for more on Justin Hutchinson in the 10. He's gotten around his teammate Stephen Hunter. He's gotten around pole sitter Arthur Xavier. And now he's going to try and work on this 10 car of Hutchinson to try and move up into the 4th spot.
So I recently said during this broadcast it would be great for Christian Vargas to put some pressure on Jared Polansky, but I don't think he has to. I don't know if he's going to even get there. That's what I said. But now we're seeing it. He is there. He's on Jared Polansky's bumper, and that is the last thing that Jared Polansky wants to see behind him is that orange and white Hooters car with the 54 on the side. He doesn't want to see it. He doesn't want to see it in his mirror. He especially doesn't want to see it out his right side window or out his windshield. And right now, Christian Vargas is on a tear. He's trying to go up there and win this race, it looks like.
Vargas down to the bottom of the racetrack on Jared Polansky. These two have been fighting it out all throughout the playoffs. Christian Vargas has had such a good postseason. He's only ever finished out of the top 10 once in the 9 races so far in the playoffs, and that was at the Denver Road Course where he finished 19th. Every other race has been a top 10 finish. It's clear to see why he's the championship favorite now, and he's just in his groove right now. He's just got to work his way through this traffic. He's closing in on the race leaders. He's just got to bide his time. He can't afford a single error in this race if he wants to win that championship.
Yeah, so this is looking really good for Christian Vargas right now. I think that he's got one of the best cars on the track. Of course, the 92 up there, he's starting to drive away from this group, but Christian Vargas has come from a long way back and a lot of traffic to get up there and be in this situation right now. So he's doing good. We'll see if it holds up in this race. There's a pit stop coming, and the pit stops have proven this season to be game changers in a lot of the races. So we'll see if that impacts this race. But right now, it looks like they're starting to get held up by Jared Polansky.
As they funnel down the back straightaway, it's a huge pack getting bottled up behind Anderson Reed in the 15 back in 7th. But right now the focus is on the battle for 3rd between Polansky, Vargas, and Hutchinson. They are duking it out for the 3rd position on the racetrack behind 2nd place J.D. Martin and Jeffrey Finguy, who's led the last several laps with a 7/10 of a second lead over the 66 and about a 1 1/4 second lead over this battle for 3rd.
Yeah, so right now, this is the most spread out. I mean, I didn't expect these guys to get spread out quite like this in this race. Of course, back there's a hornet's nest, but that's what you get when you're racing in the mid pack there. But these leaders are pretty spread out right now. They're all kind of just minding their own business, and here comes Christian Vargas. You know, he's just knocking on the door. He's filling up the mirrors of the 18 car. So we'll just have to see if he's able to get by. I think if he is able to get by, he'll be able to run people down pretty easily. But so far, he's been struggling to pass. Now that he's gotten to the top 3, he's not able to really make passes. And you know, there's no reason that he needs to be aggressive in making passes. He doesn't have to jump to the bottom. He doesn't have to push to the high side. You know, he just needs to stay there. If he can see that 18 car out his windshield, even, you know, he knows that he's got this thing won. So he's able to stay right where he is. Oh, but he doesn't want to. He's going to the outside, and he's going to try to make the pass happen on Jared Polansky right now.
I was going to say, Christian Vargas is a true racer at heart. He knows that if there's a position to be gained, he's got to take it. And they did just that round the outside of turn 2. Yep. He gets past Jared Polansky to move up into the podium places. Now he can set about chasing down J.D. Martin for 2nd and maybe even be a contender for this race victory against Jeffrey Finguy in the race lead.
Yeah, this is looking good for Christian Vargas right now, like really good. You know, he's driven up through a lot of cars like we've been talking about, and now he's gotten past Jared Polansky, so he's got to chase down J.D. Martin. He's going to have a little bit of help from the draft, and he's got you know, the benefit of the draft and also the benefit of having clear track ahead of him for until J.D. Martin is there. So he's just able to run qualifying laps at this point and kind of run him down. But the 92, however, he's starting to drive away. This Cat in the 92 car, he's over a second ahead now, which is the biggest lead we've seen in quite some time at this racetrack. And yeah, he's starting to pull away. I think that he has a different idea of how this race is going to turn out. He wants to be the one on top at the end.
Yeah, Jeffrey Finguy really wants that 5th win of the season to prove that he's a legitimate championship contender going forward. He'll, I'm sure, be a favorite for the title once again in 2022. But right now, he's out of a shot at the title now, but he still has one goal in mind, and that is to pick up the trophy at the end of this race. And it's Justin Hutchinson gets around Jared Polansky for the 4th spot. Polanski's starting to fall off a little bit off of these guys. Could we see something similar to what happened last week at Atlanta, where Polansky just didn't have the raw pace to keep up with Christian Vargas, keep up with these cars that are outrunning him at the moment? Because right now, Polanski's already 2.5 seconds behind Jeffrey Finguy.
Yeah, you know, it could be partially that, or that maybe Jeffrey Finguy is just putting a spanking down on everybody right now. This car obviously is incredibly fast. I mean, he's just gotten by Jared Polansky a couple laps ago. He's already run down J.D. Martin. There he goes to the outside, and he's going to completely clear him on the entry of the corner. So he drove away. You know, he got by Jared Polansky, drove away from him, brought Justin Hutchinson with him. Now he's getting by J.D. Martin. Justin Hutchinson also following there. So I don't know. I don't know what to say about Jared Polansky. Obviously, he's not doing good enough to be out front. He's running out of laps in this thing. But you know, as far as does he have enough speed? I can't answer that yet. You know, we're gonna have to see after the pit stop. I think when they're able to make some adjustments, able to make some strategy calls, and we'll just see how it all works out in this thing. But right now, Christian Vargas, I believe that he's the favorite not only to win the championship, but to win the race too.
He's got to track down a 1.3 second lead first in order to do that, or he can hang out back here keep blocking J.D. Martin as much as he can and go for the undercut. We saw how effective that was last night in the Nitro National Series race, where several drivers got the jump on the race leader at the time, and they produced a thrilling battle to the finish in that race. But right now, Christian Vargas is thinking. He knows what's on the line. He knows that a championship is waiting for him in 64 laps. But right now, he's solely focused on the back bumper of that Motorcraft Ford, because he knows that if he can get past that 92, he'll be in the best possible position to win the race and the season championship.
You're right, and I think that in this situation right now for Christian Vargas, he definitely needs to think a big picture. But also, you want to go out there and win that race, because it's just what you do, You said earlier, he's a racer at heart. He wants to go out there, win this thing, and in order to do that, I don't know if staying back, holding back is quite the right option for him right now, and obviously he's going to want to go up there and try to pass for the lead, but I wouldn't sleep on the overcut as a strategy in this race. Once we are making pit stops in this thing, we saw yesterday the 3-car in the Nitro race, man, when he stayed out just 2 laps longer than the guys he was racing against, he had fresh enough tires at the end of the race to have a huge advantage. He drove them down, and he was contending for the wins. So I'll tell you what, that's going to be something to watch for, because that could be the thing. If you're not able to nail the undercut on these drivers, you might want to try to go for the overcut and have a better end of the race than you do right there in the middle when you make a pit stop.
And while we didn't see one yesterday, a caution could throw a whole wrench into that plan as well. Because if a caution comes out before you pit, you're just going to want to make your stop under yellow and forget all about strategy. But if it comes out in the middle of green flag pit stops, that's a whole other story. Because if you trap your main contenders a lap down, that could allow you to gain a lot of time. And for example, if Christian Vargas pit early, lost a lap, finished in, say, 35th, 36th, or somewhere around there, he could be in position to lose this championship to Jared Polansky if he can finish right about where he's at right now.
Yeah, and that would be worst case scenario for Christian Vargas. So I'm saying, if I'm Christian Vargas' crew chief right now, I'm thinking that the overcut's the way to go. Not only because you don't ever lose a lap when you're using the overcut. You're out there and you take the lead because you're staying out on the track longer. And then when you pit, you are only at a disadvantage of a couple positions, maybe some time on the track. So if you do that, you can't get caught out.
As Justin Hutchinson makes a move on Christian Vargas for the second position on the racetrack, I don't believe that Vargas will put up too much of a fight here, because he knows the big picture at stake here. But Hutchinson is looking for another win. He's got 2 wins this season, both of which have come at Las Vegas. So right now, it's only a matter of time before Hutchinson finds his way to victory lane at a different racetrack, and it might come today. Who knows? Because he's got a fast car, he's gotten around Vargas for second, and if he can get a run on Jeffrey Finguy, maybe through pit stops, maybe just through raw pace, who knows? Could be a blue ticket day for Justin Hutchinson.
Yeah, I was expecting Christian Vargas to drag Justin Hutchinson up to Jeffrey Finguy in the lead of this thing, but Jeffrey Finguy has just got a significantly faster car than these guys right now. I mean, he's just driving away with it right now. He's got the lead is extending every single lap. We'll see now that the 10 is out ahead if the lead closes in a little bit here, but so far so good for the 92. I think that's the car to beat.
And as you can see, the lead grew on that lap to 1.8 seconds over Justin Hutchinson. So Jeffrey Finguy just managing the gap, not burning up his stuff, saving something for the end of the stint, which should be coming in about 20 laps' time. This race is 13 laps longer than the Nitro National Series race yesterday, but that just allows for more strategy, and it allows for more management of your tires, of your fuel, of whatever else you need, because Jeffrey Finguy is just pulling away, and his gap's now over 2 seconds.
Yeah, I mean, he is really driving away. It's just that he's broken away from where there's dirty air and draft, helping and hurting these guys behind him. He's completely on an island all by himself out there, and he's just picking them up and putting them down, nailing the line every single lap and making lap time. And right now we've got a 3-car battle for second place, which is probably hurting the lap times of these guys a little bit as well, because they're running side by side. Though you'd think that they would be going a little bit faster because they're kind of drafting, but I guess that's not the case today. And the 10 car is just barely able to hold off Christian Vargas with good runs out of the corner every single time.
So, as things stand right now, Jeffrey Finguy holds a 2.2 second lead over Justin Hutchinson. Christian Vargas doing what he needs to do to win the championship in third, out of J.D. Martin fourth, and all the way back 6 seconds behind J.Q. Halleck, rounding out the top 5, just ahead of Jared Polansky, who's fallen even further behind. But here comes J.D. Martin making a move on Christian Vargas. Could Vargas have used up his stuff trying to slice through this pack? And now he's going to start paying for it in the long run here.
Yeah, I mean, it's very possible, but I'll tell you what, to get from his starting position all the way back in 18th, or no, it was 15th where he started, but to get from there all the way up to third place in this thing, he was in second for a while too. I mean, I'd rather be up there than have saved my stuff in the hornet's nest in the middle of the pack. I'd rather go all the way up here and then not be able to catch second place than be trying to fight through all those cars that are run 3 wide and stuff in the back of the pack.
Vargas going to try and make another run here at Justin Hutchinson in that 10 car. They're going to be nose to tail going into turn 3, and Vargas going to move up high. That's going to provide an advantage off of 4, but I don't think it's going to be enough because Hutchinson's just going to be able to hold him off for that spot. We're keeping an eye on Christian Vargas because everything because he is the center of our story tonight. He is the key to winning this championship. He can't make any mistakes. The crew can't make any mistakes either. Not everything has to be perfect if he's going to win his first championship and join his teammate as one-up Superstar Series champions.
Yeah, so this is a really good situation for him. He's just out ahead. He's gotten away from the 18 car. The 18 has fallen back in this race, and it's the same story as last week. Like we were talking about it earlier, that 18 car just last week did not show up with the speed that we expected, and this week at the same type of racetrack, it's in the same situation. It could even be the same car that they've brought, and he's just falling back. So I think we're too late in the run to say that he's saving anything. I don't think that he is. I think that he's just not have the speed, and he's going to have to make an aggressive strategy move to get back up to the front. We're getting to the point where he's not going to be able to get that most laps led bonus unless something crazy happens, and he's going to be able to get the other 2 bonus points possibly, but at the same time, Christian Vargas is having a great day, so I don't want to say all hope is lost, but he's going to have to make an aggressive strategy move, Jared Polansky is, to be able to have a shot.
And I'm sure Christian Vargas will be dictating his strategy based around what the 18 does. For example, if the 18 tries an undercut, the 54 will come in next time by to cover him off. And if the 18 goes long, well, the 54 will just go long with him. That is what Christian Vargas is going to need to do. He's going to need to stay on the exact same strategy as Jared Polansky, even if it costs him a race win. It'll help him win a championship. And overall, that is what he's here to do tonight.
You're absolutely right. So that's definitely the strategy call you're going to want to have. He's sitting behind the 10 car, looking great in this race. He's drafting. He's able to save his stuff a little bit here and just kind of ride right now in this race, which is what everybody's doing. And I'll tell you what, that 92 it continues to impress, way ahead of everybody. Here he is. He's gaining a ton of time every single lap. He's running a little bit lower on the track than everybody else. That's fascinating. He's running a little bit lower, so that's cutting off the racetrack a little bit. Let's see where he runs in 3 and 4. Yeah, I think that's about a half lane lower than these other guys, and it's just saving some racetrack, saving some distance, and allowing him to extend his advantage.
And right now, Jeffrey Finguy enjoying a 2.7 second lead over This 10 car. Oh, it's now 3 seconds. I spoke too soon. Jeffrey Finn guy is just cruising out in front of this race as we take the halfway lap this time. Jeffrey Finn guy's closing in on the most laps led point, and he could take that away from Jared Polansky and Christian Vargas. So as long as Polanski can keep a good run here, I think, I don't know, it's going to be interesting to see as we enter the second half of the season finale here at Homestead.
Yeah, we're approaching the pit zone, you know, the time where this window opens, and you know, it's coming to the end of the run. Everybody's gonna have to make this pit stop coming up here. There's JD Martin ripping the top. He's gonna try to get by Christian Vargas here, running with a good run on the outside. Oh man, well, I don't know. They're still not side by side. Either way, they're coming up on pit stops. You know, you can only go about 50 to 60 laps here. We're approaching lap 50 here. And I think that as soon as one car pits, it's going to drag everybody in because the undercut is strong here. The tire wear knocks a lot of time off the laps towards the end of these runs. So as soon as one guy comes in, everybody's going to follow next time by. And then that'll be that. And that's when we'll really be able to evaluate who's got a shot at this race win and who's going to be up front to follow, because I think that you know, it's not over. Even though the 92 is way out there, it is far from over, this thing is, and I think that somebody could beat him on pit strategy. We'll just have to see how it plays out. Of course, he could be ahead of the pit strategy. That's always an option, but for now, there's still hope for these drivers behind to maybe get ahead of him.
As JD Martin makes another move to the outside of Christian Vargas as we enter lap 50, and he's going to stay up to the high side. This could be the run he needs. As these tires wear, you're going to drift further and further up the racetrack, and these cars perform their best on the high side anyway. So especially so on worn tires. Jeffrey Finn guy's going to be the lone exception, of course, running a bit lower on the track, as you said, but he's just managing his gap. He doesn't need to run too high up, because if he runs too far up the racetrack, knocks the wall down, that could allow his deficit to shrink in an instant from 3.5 seconds down to maybe just half a second. And from there, these guys can really go on the attack.
Yeah, you know, and something we saw yesterday is that those nitro cars, they're able to take a lot of abuse when they hit the wall. You know, you can hit the wall 2-3 times, and then and your car will be okay. However, these cars, I don't believe that they're quite like that. You know, it's a different type of car. There's fender flares and stuff. They'll curl in and cut tires down, and if you hit the wall, you're more likely to have that be a race-ending or a contention-ending incident for you. So you don't want to get too close. You don't want to push too hard in the early stages of this race, or at least before the first pit stop, because you risk ending the whole shot that you have at the race, and nobody wants to do that quite yet. So I'll expect that they'll get pretty physical if it comes down to it in the last few laps, but for now, it's just not worth it to be that high up in the track. And Christian Vargas has a huge run on the bottom. This is incredible. He's gotten side by side with the 66.
Side by side down to the stripe to start lap 53, and Christian Vargas still hanging in there on the bottom. I'm not sure if it's going to be... Well, actually, it could be enough around the bottom of the racetrack to get around JD Martin. Move Christian Vargas back into the podium places, right behind Justin Hutchinson, about 4 seconds off leader Jeffrey Finn guy, and we're right in the smack dab in the middle of that pit window. So expect within the next 2 to 5 laps, expect these guys to start pitting, and once that happens, it will be a hornet's nest, especially on pit road. We saw it in the Nitro National Series race. This pit road is not too wide, and it's got surrounded on all sides by retaining walls, so these cars don't have much room for error there.
Yeah, you know, and you know, under caution, we see a lot of incidents on pit road just because of the fact that, you know, you got people going into the pits, and then people who are just finishing their service coming out of the pits, and they kind of cross over a little bit. So we'll watch that to see if that happens on the pit lane today, you know, because that first group, when they pit, I'm sure it's going to be a couple of different groups in pit, you know. So the first group is going to come into pit, and they're going to get their service, and by the time they're done with their service, the second group's going to be rolling down the pit lane, and they're going to be crossing paths. So there's always potential for a pit stop failure or something like that. But for Jared Polansky, none of that is an option. You have to go into the pits, have a clean stop, have the fastest stop of anybody, make your adjustments, get out of there, and try to win this race. And so far, that plan has not worked out.
Jeffrey Finguy continues to stay on the racetrack on lap 56. He's inching ever closer towards that most laps led bonus point to steal it away from the two championship contenders. And actually, the gap's starting to close a little bit between the Finguy and this group of three. It's gone down a couple tenths. I don't think it's going to be enough to close up by the time pit stops happen, but if these guys try an undercut, they could jump the 92. Let's see what happens if they try and make a stop this time. Finguy stays out, and it looks like so will everyone else. They're going to stretch this as long as they physically can, and just so they can have fresher stuff at the end for a battle for the checkered flag.
Yeah, you know, it's all about the fact that everybody's afraid of the danger zone. When you pit right now and nobody else pits, you're going to go a lap down. And if a caution comes out, for example, with everybody coming into the pit lane at once, you're going to be totally stuck one lap down. And that could be the end of your race. We have not seen cautions this weekend, which means that the chances of a caution coming out in this race after a caution comes out with the pit stop thing is going to be very minimal. So you don't want to go a lap down at all costs. So you don't want to be the first one to pit. It's as simple as that.
You really don't, as Jared Polansky runs in the 6th position. Normally a good day for him, but it's just not going to be enough unless something big happens to that 54 car, either on pit road or on the racetrack. Either way, he needs something major to happen to his championship rival, Christian Vargas. Here they come into turn 3. They're going to make the move. No, they're not. Finguy stays out. Let's see what these guys do. They're going to stay out as well. They're really stretching it here. They're entering lap 59. We anticipated the fuel window being about 50 to 60. They're really making a stretch at it. Maybe the tires have fallen off enough to where they can save a little fuel. But at this point, they got to be hurting fuel.
Yeah, you know, if I'm Christian Vargas right now, here's what I'm saying. I'm telling my spotter to go and talk to the 10 car, talk to the 66 crew. Let's all pit at the same time, right? If these guys all pit at the same time, then they're all going to be in the danger zone together. They're going to drag people behind down the pit lane. Did the 92 pit?
No, he did not. He stays on the racetrack ahead, and he's 4.1 seconds ahead.
Yeah, I couldn't see him in that camera shot. I thought maybe he had pitted. He's just so far ahead that you can't see him. Either way, I'm saying that if you can pit with this group, you're far enough ahead the people behind you that they're going to see it, be like, pit now, pit now. Everybody's going to come in. You're going to undercut that 92 car. And that might be your only shot to catch that 92 car right now in this thing. And oh, are they going to pit this time? It looks like they're pitting, maybe?
Yes, they are. Here they come. They're all coming together. A couple cars are already on pit road. Jeffrey Finguy stays on the racetrack. This could be an undercut opportunity for these three as they come down pit road together. Is Jared Polansky going to come with these guys? I'd imagine he has to, just to stay within earshot of the 54, and it looks like he will. So that leaves Jeffrey Finguy with a 9-second lead over car number 83. But I imagine Finguy is going to be coming into the pits this time. But that one lap difference, how much of a difference will it make? We'll see what happens as Finguy comes in for his pit stop on lap 61.
It looks like possibly only about four cars stayed out. Let's see if Jeffrey Finguy is able to pit correctly. You know, if there's nobody in his way. Looks like he's going to be okay so far. I can't tell anymore. Yep.
Following now Christian Vargas as he exits the pits. It looks like he had a clean stop. Ahead, well, it looks like Justin Hutchinson got out ahead of him, but he's still in a very good position right now. He's going to be probably in that second in this race because they're probably going to undercut Jeffrey Finguy here, and that'll drop the 92 out of the lead. So if Hutchinson then takes the lead of this race and Vargas runs second, that would be plenty enough to win the championship. So Vargas has just got to ride it out. He's got this stint is going to be much shorter than the first one, so we can afford to go a little harder on this stint than in the first. But does he really need to at this point is the big question here. As Jeffrey Finguy now exits the pits, they did get the undercut off on him. Justin Hutchinson will take the lead of this race. Christian Vargas will be second. J.D. Martin will be third. Jeffrey Finguy falls all the way back to fourth. The question is, will that pit strategy come back for Jeffrey Finguy? The overcut could be a strategy he's trying to employ. We'll see what happens in the final 30 laps of this race.
Boy, that is amazing to me, because Jeffrey Finguy now is 4 seconds behind the leader. He was 4 seconds ahead, so in that one lap that he stayed out, he lost a total of 8 seconds to Justin Hutchinson. That is absolutely incredible. So we'll see. He's still got the fastest car. You know, he still has that same car that he just drove out to a 4-second lead in. But can he use that car to gain 4 seconds back on these guys? I don't know. Well, it's going to be awesome to find out. I know that much. But, you know, as far as Christian Vargas is concerned, it doesn't matter whether Jeffrey Finguy is able to win this race or not. He is sitting pretty, looking at the chance to win the championship right here.
While the championship contenders had pretty solid pit stops, you can see Jared Polansky holds the fastest lap point. That could be important if Vargas has an issue. But while these guys had good pit stops, several cars did not. Jake McMillan being among them, Lane Sanders, Cody Goforth as well. They are now off the lead lap entirely with their slow pit stop. So we are now left with 39 cars on the lead lap, all 42 still running on the racetrack. And Justin Hutchinson enjoying a 1.4 second lead over Christian Vargas. But we'll see what happens, because Glenn Mixon might play spoiler here. He's trying to unlap himself at this point. Jared Jackson had a slow stop. He's on the tail end of the lead lap. Sam Donotto had a slow stop. He's on the tail end of the lead lap. Pole sitter Arthur Xavier as well. But you can see the gap went down a little bit that time by. Now it's down to 1.1 seconds. So, and you can see the top two in the championship. They hold the 2 fastest laps of the race. It just goes to show these two are the cream of the crop when it comes down to it. And they're putting it all on the line in their bid to win a championship. As we're closing in on 25 laps to go.
Yeah, and, you know, and these lap cars are mixing it up here in the front. But I'll tell you what. We're talking about Jared Polansky like he's having a horrible day. He really isn't. He's sitting there in 5th place. Obviously, he's got the fastest lap. He started up front. He's still in the top 5, but it just, in comparison to the guy he needs to beat by a lot of positions, he's not doing very well, and that's all it is. It's just that Christian Vargas in this season, in this playoff, has been unstoppable. You know, he's always up there. He's always getting solid finishes, and he's just able to be ahead when he needs to be ahead, and that's all that's happening here. It's not that Jared Polansky's crew has missed the mark. It's not that Jared Polansky is not driving up to the same standard he has been. You know, it's not that the cars are slower or anything. It's just that Christian Vargas is outright beating them today, and that's exactly what Christian Vargas has to do to secure this championship.
Notice the gap went down another 0.3 there. It's down to 0.8 of a second. Justin Hutchinson might be getting held up by Devin Fair and Henry Brown here. They're about to go a lap down as well. Hutchinson's going to try and make a move on the bottom. That's not where he wants to go, but it's about the only option he's got. And Vargas is going to rip the top, and that's going to allow him to gain a lot of time, as long as he can get around Glenn Mixon and Jake McMillan, that is.
Yeah, you know, this is going to be an interesting thing, because they're all kind of bunched up with these lappers right here. The 34 is right there, the 21. He's kind of stuck in the middle, and I don't know. It's oh, he's going to be able to get by right here. So now he's going to have a clear
shot. We got an issue
shot
on pit road to report. Andres Molina in the 77, after falling out of playoff contention, is now exiting the pits. He had to make a second stop for whatever reason. We'll get word on that later. But he will fall off the lead lap as well. And we can also report that Blair in the 19, her season has come to an end early with a blown engine in the recent laps here at Homestead-Miami Speedway. She will not see the end of this race, but she'll be back in 2022 to race and compete for wins again. But right now, the battle for the lead is getting closer. Justin Hutchinson, it's down to half a second. Now it's down to 0.3. Man, Hutchinson's being held up by these lap cars in a big way, and that's allowed Christian Vargas to reel in the gap just that much. And Jeffrey Finguy has gotten around J.D. Martin For third,
Yep.
he's only 3.3 seconds back, and with about 20 laps to go, is that going to be enough time, do you think?
Yeah, it's going to be really fascinating to watch because that 54 car, he's right there. If he can get by, I think he might be able to drive away, especially because the 10 isn't able to really pass these lap cars right now. But, man, it's really tough to tell. I mean, 4 seconds was a lot, and he lost a lot of time, and there's so many lap cars to pass, too. This is a hornet's nest for the leaders.
Yeah, this is not where Vargas wants to be for sure. He wants to be in fresh, clean air all by himself. But as Hutchinson now goes up high to try and get around Devin Fair into 0-8, making his second start of the season in a bid for Rookie of the Year next year. But Hutchinson now, he's clear of Devin Fair. He's going to try and work around Henry Brown here. But Vargas is right on his tailpipe. And one slip up from this 10 car means we'll have a new leader.
Oh yeah, this is absolutely incredible. I mean, it looks like it's a 6-car battle for the lead right now, but it's only 2, and all these other cars are.
Oh, here he comes! Oh, Hutchinson shuts the door on him.
Don't do that.
There's not room there for that pass, and Hutchinson stays out in the lead of this race with 21 laps to go in the 2021 season. Christian Vargas trying to race for a championship, but now he's racing for a race victory here as well.
Oh man, I mean that was intense right there. I mean he sent it straight up towards the wall to try to get by it. It almost didn't work out. That was a scary moment. I mean, Christian.
Oh, here he comes to try again, and this time he gets alongside the 10 car. This is going to be huge. Coming off of turn 4, it's going to be Christian Vargas in the lead of this race. Give him a bonus point for that. That's going to be important for his championship bid. Now, he only needs to finish 29th or higher in this race to beat Jared Polansky in that 18 car. So now he's got a little more breathing room to work with, especially now that he's cleared a lap traffic for the most part, and now that Justin Hutchinson is getting passed by a lap car himself.
Yeah, don't tell Christian Vargas about that 29th place thing. He does not need to hear about that. I mean, he is leading this thing right now, just absolutely dominating the day and taking every opportunity he's got. I mean, he just got aggressive for the first time in this race, and he took the lead, and now he's driving away. So we got the 92 closing in pretty quick, but for now, lap 76 out of 94, Christian Vargas is in the lead of this thing, exactly where he needs to be to win this championship.
And to get his series-leading 6th win of the season, that would, if he can get that win, that would only put him one behind Stephen Hunter on the all-time win list for number 1 on that list. So Christian Vargas is closing in on being the greatest ever with his season here today. Not quite there yet. If he can win this race, he'll be even closer, but Jeffrey Finguy's still lurking back there. He's running out of laps, but he's gaining time. You saw him just on the right-hand side of your screen there in the red and white, number 92. If these guys continue to be held up by lap traffic, that's going to allow Jeffrey Finguy to close in. This might not be over for the 92 car.
No, it definitely isn't. I mean, he's less than 3 seconds back now, and the 54 is on the bottom lane, so it's not where you want to be right now, but he has to be down there to try to get by these lappers who are getting by him. I mean, look at this. They're going side by side for the lead behind these guys. They're going to be stuck there for a while. The 92 is chopped a half second in the last lap off the lead. He's got clean track. You just saw him in the screen right there. He's on the right side of the screen, and every couple of shots we get, he's chopping time off. Look at this. Both of the lanes are blocked by lappers for these leaders, the top and the bottom. There's nowhere to go for either of them. They're both losing a ton of time, and Jeffrey Finguy, who's had the fastest car all day, is coming. He's on the way. He chopped another half second off the leader's pace here, so this thing is, you're right, it's totally not over yet, and we've got plenty of time for this battle to intensify.
15 laps to go in the 2021 season, and it's a dogfight for the top spot between Christian Vargas, the championship contender, who's got a huge lead, and it's between Justin Hutchinson, twice a winner at Las Vegas, trying to win elsewhere, but right now, Christian Vargas is still maintaining the gap out front, but the gap's gone down. It's gone down by another 4/10 for Jeffrey Finguy. But critically for the 92, he's got to get around Glenn Mixon, Henry Brown, Devin Fair as well. That could hold him up a little bit. That could be what Christian Vargas really needs here.
Yeah, Christian Vargas has got to get. I mean, now that these lap cars are spread out a little bit, it's going to be easier for him to get by them. Well, they were racing side by side. Nobody's getting by those guys. But right now, even though he's stuck on the bottom, that outside lane is so dominant. The lappers are able to stay out there against the leader. But right now, it's a lot easier for him to set better lap times when these lappers are spread out. So that's good for Christian Vargas. And now. We've seen the 92 gaining a ton of time, but if you look back there, he is now catching those guys. So he's right on their tail. He's going to start losing time. He's not going to be catching quite as fast. So while it's not over, it's definitely the progress is going to slow down for the 92 car in the coming laps.
And critically for Christian Vargas, that gap between he and the 10 is opening up a little bit now. It's half a second. Because now, Brandon Beal in the 37 is holding up Justin Hutchinson in that 10 car. Finn Guy has caught the back of this train, and he's going to try and do everything he can to get around these three. And I'm pretty sure with his fresher tires that he'll have no problem doing that. As Christian Vargas, he's running a conservative line like Finn Guy did earlier in the race. He doesn't have to win this race. He'd really like to, but as long as he can finish this race, within sight of that 18 car, he's going to be your series champion in about 12 laps time.
And here's something else to consider. The 18 car, he's stuck in 7th place. He's been riding around there between 5th and 7th all race. So if he remains there and Christian Vargas were to have some sort of mechanical failure or something were to go wrong and he falls back in the pack, I'm not sure exactly the point difference between 7th and as far back as this 54 can go with cars out of the race.
We only have one car out of the race right now, Blair in the 19, so he could finish 41st in this race if something were to go wrong right now.
Gotcha. So 41st, again, I'm not sure if that's enough points for the 18. He's going to still have to work to try to get this championship, even if something goes wrong for the 54 car. And so I'm watching this 54 car. I don't think anything's going to go wrong for him. I mean, I don't mean to give him the commentator's curse, of course. Got to knock on wood for that one. But right now, he's looking really, really good in this race, and he's my favorite pick to win the whole thing.
Only one DNF this season, so he knows how to get to the finish line in these races. As Jeffrey Finn Guy's gap is down to less than a second. He's caught in the middle of that lap traffic. Hutchinson's clear of it, though. We'll see what happens with the 10. Does the 10 car have anything left in the tank? But once Jeffrey Finn Guy gets clear of this traffic, he is going to be a bullet. He is going to get past Hutchinson fairly easily. The question is, will he have enough time to catch Christian Vargas as we now have 9 laps to go at Homestead?
9 laps. That's a lot of laps. I mean, that's 18 corners that you have to get a good run out of. That's where you're gaining all the time if you're the 92. Still got 1 lap car to pass, and of course, then he's got the toughest pass he has to make yet in this run against the 10 car, though he has fresher tires, and he's got the fastest car on this racetrack. We've seen it all day. So, I don't know. Is 9 laps enough time? We'll find out. I can't tell you yet. I'll be able to tell you after the race if it was enough time or not. But I'll tell you what, I think he's going to be able to get close. And I think that'll make this thing pretty interesting at the end for Christian Vargas. And we'll see if Christian Vargas is willing to put up a fight for the win or if he's just going to kind of lay over and take the championship. Say, you can have this race, but I'm going to go and win the championship and not get wrecked by we'll see if that happens and if it even has to do that, with laps running out in this thing.
Coming to the close of the 2021 season, Jeffrey Finn Guy lost a little time on that lap. He's down to about 1.5 seconds back. That could be a factor as well, but he's going to get clear of Brandon Beal here shortly, and then he'll only have Justin Hutchinson to deal with. As we now have about 7 laps to go, is it going to be enough time? Because Finn Guy, he's clear of Brandon Beal now. He's going to try and get a run on Hutchinson in the middle of 3 and 4. It's just a matter of time at this point before Finn Guy is within striking distance at the very least. Yeah. Look at him go.
Yeah, he's gaining a lot of time on the bottom, but it took him a lot longer to pass Brandon Beal than I expected him to. If he can make quick work of this 10 car, and it kind of looks like he will, but he's stuck on that bottom lane, the 10's going to have a better run. Let's see if he's able to clear.
Which will be more important, the better lane or the fresher tires? It looks like the tires will prevail here.
Yeah.
because Finn Guy is maintaining his pace on the bottom of the racetrack. And keep in mind, there is still lap traffic in front of Christian Vargas that could hold him up even further. So this race is by no means over. We're closing in on 5 laps to go.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. I mean, look, he's in the same place he was last time by the start-finish line. I mean, I'd definitely rather have fresher tires than the proper line. But I'll tell you what, if I've got fresh tires, I'm probably going to go to the top here. I'm going to try my best to pass him on the top side, just so I know I can clear him. Because here, he was almost clear. Oh, he's clear now. All right, so now the chase begins. It took him 2 laps, or 1.5 laps there, maybe 1 3/4, to pass the 10 car. So now the chase is on to try to catch Christian Vargas for Jeffrey Finn Guy. He's got fresher tires. He's had the faster car all day. He's got less than a second between himself and the leader, and he's only got a couple laps to do it, and there's lap cars who are going to help him. So let's see what happens.
Christian Russell in that 2 car is going to maybe the deciding factor in who wins this race or not, because Jeffrey Finn Guy's just closing that gap. We're coming to 3 laps to go this time. Christian Vargas has got the championship almost in his pocket, but he's got to be thinking, can he win the race as well and have a double celebration here at the end of this thing? 3 laps to go from Homestead, and the gap, it's down to 3/4 of a second now. It's gonna get smaller every lap. We'll see, folks. It's gonna be a close one.
It's all going to be about where this 54 catches Christian Russell, and if he catches Christian Russell, who is really pushing that vehicle to the limit coming out of turn 2. We'll see if he's able to pass him.
Oh, but he's going to the bottom of the racetrack. That's not where he wants to run, but it's the only place he can. Coming off of turn 4, coming to 2 laps to go. Jeffrey Finn Guy, we'll see what the gap is at the line. It's down to half a second.
If he got by him, though.
He did get by. But if Finn Guy can get by Russell a little faster, that's going to make all the difference. As we're coming down the back straightaway, we're coming to the white flag this time. Christian Vargas is more than likely going to be your series champion. But we still got a race winner to decide, and it's going to come all the way down to the final few laps. Oh, as we see some aero push on the 2 car, moving him up the racetrack. We're coming to the white flag. It's in the air one more time around in 2021.
Yeah, this is intense right now because the 92 is going to be able to clear the 2 going into the corner, and he's pretty close to Christian Vargas here. Oh, he's not going to be able to clear the 2. That's critical.
Oh, no, he is. He's getting clear of the 2 right now. Coming down the back straightaway for the final time. Christian Vargas, half a lap away from the championship and from his 6th win of the season. Christian Vargas in the shadow of his teammate Stephen Hunter for so long. He's going to celebrate his championship now. Finn Guy's getting underneath him, though. Off of turn 4 for the final time. It's going to be a drag race coming to the start-finish line. Checkered flag is in the air. It's going to be close. Finn Guy gets him at the line by 2/100ths of a second. Jeffrey Finn Guy gets his 5th win of the season, but that's not going to matter to Christian Vargas because he is your 2021 What Up Superstar Series champion. After a commanding performance, he will be able to celebrate with his crew. Even if he lost the race win on the final corner, he's still going to be celebrating because he's achieved the highest peak in his racing career.
Oh my goodness, to close out the season like that is absolutely special. The 54 car gets the win of the championship, right? But he loses the race in the final moment. Man, oh man, what a
for
thing
Jared
that was.
Polansky, 6th in the race and 2nd in the championship, will have to do for him. But what a drive both these guys put on. It's been an absolute pleasure watching these two perform their work, and we're looking forward to seeing what they can do in 2022. They're both going to come back. We got a lot more contenders that are going to be favorites, like Justin Hutchinson, Jeffrey Finn Guy. Nick Ortiz is going to be a favorite probably, and a lot of, and the rookies from this year are going to have a year of experience under their belt, like Patrick Smith. He finished 8th in this race. He's going to finish 14th in the points despite missing 3 races. He could be a favorite for the championship. We never know. But what a season this has been. I'm so proud of where this series has come. I'd like to thank everybody for staying with us through this entire season. We're looking forward to 2022 as much as you are, but I have a feeling Christian Vargas is going to want to soak it in for a while because he is your champion after 30 races of so much work. He's won 5 of them. But man, This is going to be something he's going to remember for the rest of his life. He is a series champion in one-up racing competition. So, with that being said, for the final time in 2021, from Duke Ansack and from myself as well, we say goodbye from the Homestead-Miami Speedway. And while Jeffrey Finguy nipped Christian Vargas at the line to win the battle here at Homestead, Christian Vargas is the winner of the war. He is your 2021 One-Up Superstar Series champion, and no one can take that away from him now.